I don't like to talk until the music's done. Hello and welcome to UI Builder Live. This our second show of the new year. I think that sounds right. My name is Brad Tilton, and joining me as always is
Maria Gabriela Perez-Wechter. A lot of you guys may know me as MGOPW in the community. Hello, everybody. Happy second show of the year.
All right. Well, on UI Builder Live, we generally get in and do live development using UI Builder most of the time. It doesn't always involve UI Builder, but most of the time it does. In things that we don't practice, we're just trying to get things done and do some real development. That was really obvious in our last episode, where we struggled and were unsuccessful and then had it figured out 5 minutes after the show was over. But a little bit of housekeeping on that. Our last episode, we did standard record page and page collections. And then the next week, we did something really similar on our Next Experience Academy, where we kind of show how to go through the whole process in a practice demo. So if you watched the last episode and want to know how we did that, we will be posting that Academy session sometime soon on the Next Experience community. But that was last time. This week, tell us what we're going to be doing.
So this week, we're going to be working through and figuring out declarative actions. Just as a quick spoiler about the Academy, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show y'all where it was that we missed the field. So here I am on a UX extension point record for the a random page collection I just clicked. And it turns out down here, there's an icon field, which is where we needed to fill in the icon for our page collection. And that's just the little tidbit that we missed, and everything worked perfectly afterwards. So now to start.
You can get to that page from UIB from the page collection record. I forget what exactly you click on, but it's up in settings and you can go open record and I think open page collection, and then it gets you right to that screen.
Yeah, that Academy and the Academy's post should be updated tomorrow if you want to see the full, much more rehearsed version of what we just told you. It was a lot of fun figuring that one out. So today's topic, declarative actions. Brad, what are declarative actions?
Ooh, declarative actions are basically, for the most part, they are buttons or field decorators you put on a form in a workspace. They are kind of analogous to UI actions, but there are a little bit of differences. But it's basically how you add some sort of button or action to a workspace without just dragging the button component onto the screen. So they can show up in a list component, in a form component, inside of a field with a little icon for a field decorator. And so it allows you to kind of add stuff to a form or a page without having to own that page in UIB page counter. But yeah.
I am trying to send Earl right now a link for him to post in the chat. Here we go. There is an awesome article out on the community by Dylan Lindgren, who goes over everything you will ever need to know about declarative actions. I've gone ahead and it should getting posted in the chat here soon. Thank you, Earl. So we're going to go ahead and open up UI Builder, and I'm already on the service operations workspace. I do have to be very honest with you guys. I'm so sorry. I might be letting down a lot of you, but this is rehearsed. I'm sorry. I know. Typically, we like being a lot more reckless here, but I figured that this was a good cause, you know, just to make sure we all get declarative actions right, because it's so confusing in the first place. So you guys can ignore all these other times I've practiced, and let's just open up the SRP record.
It does help to be rehearsed with the declarative actions because so many things can go wrong.
Honestly, Earl, I asked Brad with the declarative action definition because my mind blanked.
Oh, yeah, we actually didn't rehearse that part.
No, we didn't. We barely are able to decide who's going to speak first before the show starts. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to first create a variant of this page by going in and doing duplicate variant. And we're going to call this SRP record UIB live.
And SRP stands for standard record page from our last show. So that is the newest version of our record page template. I love that before we went live, Earl told us he was going to be less trolly today. And 5 minutes in, we've got a lot of page counters.
I appreciate that the page counters are starting from the beginning, though. So the reason why we are going to, so last time we created a page collection, we didn't need to create a page variant, which is an awesome feature of page collections. The reason why we're making a variant this time around is because we're going to add a modal and a page level event. So we're going to go ahead and oh my gosh, I forgot what we're going to do. Right.
Create a new modal.
I completely forgot what our use case is. I forgot to say what our use case is. So there we go. See, it feels organic. It feels really legit. So our use case today is we're going to create a way for people in the service operations workspace to be able to see their callers related records. So we're going to open up an incident here, and let's say I have my caller here and I want to see Ailey's related records. I don't have any real easy way of doing that right now. So I'm going to go back to UI Builder, and I chose to do this with a modal. You can do this in many different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and create a custom modal.
I think our use case last time was the same use case in a page collection, right?
I think it was.
So yeah, there's lots of different ways to achieve this.
So I'm going to rename this to users related records. Be sure to rename your components.
You froze for me, although I can still see the screen.
Okay, if you can still see the screen, that's fine. Can you hear me though?
Can anybody else hear Maria Gabriela? There she is. You're back.
I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and add a stylized text, and I'm going to remove the preset. And then I'm going to add here a list. Pop quiz, Brad, why are there so many list components? Which one should I use?
It's a good question. Is this a Vancouver instance?
I think so. It's definitely not Washington, I can assure you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Why are there so many lists? They just do different things. So there's the main actual list components are list and simple list, and then presentational list is a newer thing.
So we're going to go ahead and select simple list because that sounds nice. I'm going to go ahead and change this from I think I'll leave it at the task table, right? And I'm going to edit the fixed filter here. And I'm going to add from the incident table, I want to grab the caller. I'm going to change this to bind data. And I'm going to dot walk here. And I just typed in a whole bunch of stuff. I'll show you where you can find that here in a second. I'm also going to add another condition for or. And now we're going to dot walk from requested item. And we're going to grab caller, or rather requested for. I don't remember my alphabet. There we go. I'm going to put in the same information I have here, and I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to hit save just for good measure. So where did I get that data from? I got it from down here. There are these data resources where we can get information from. And this specific one, I got it from the, was it this one?
It's probably the form controller.
Yes, data.record. Whoops. So yeah, I got a data.record, and then I went into the form, and here I basically control F, and I found the caller ID field. And you basically just create this data.walking from there. Just a quick review for those of us who might be joining us brand new. So we've got our filter there, and we're going to go ahead and now add a little button at the bottom here. Gonna have variant primary. Then I'm gonna add event. And when the button gets clicked, I want it to close my modal dialog. And remember, if you want it to close it, you got to uncheck open or leave it unchecked. This always gets me. Select your modal, hit add, always hit save. So now we've got a list and we've got our button. Now there's something that we're going to look into further with this list in a little bit. You guys will see, I think I did something wrong, but I haven't identified it yet. But we'll look at that in a second. So now that we've got our modal set up, we're going to go and, well, you know what? I really don't like how this looks. I'm going to go here to the footer. It's taking a little moment to make things look pretty. Awesome. So now we're going to go to the body container and we're going to create a handled event. Brad, can you explain to me, like I'm 5, what a handled event is?
Yeah, so all of our, not all, most components and data resources in UI Builder, when you interact with them, they throw some sort of event, and then you connect an event handler to that event and take some sort of action. So there are times where you may want to be able to associate some sort of action or event handler with some sort of event and then call that from multiple places. And so that's one of the things you can do with a handled event here is I can create a handled event. So I'm just defining some new event, and then I can say every time somebody fires this event, we're going to do something. And that allows me to connect to that event from a script, from multiple places on the page, but it also lets me connect to that event from a declarative action or something that's not on the page, which is what we're going to do.
So I've gone ahead and I've added my handled event down here just by clicking add. And I'm going to go here into page event mappings. I'm going to add a page event mapping using my handled event. And I want that to open the specific modal. Remember, click on that. And I'm going to hit save. So from here, we're going to actually go back into the platform view, and we're going to create our actual action. So this is the part that can get a little bit confusing. We're going to go in and type in field decorators, because I want to make a declarative action of type field decorators. And something, this field needs to be filled in. So you should go to the table and fill it in because it's not on the form view. And this is an easy way for when you click new for it to already be filled in, which I had no idea about. I actually learned on this show that if you have a filter, it'll actually get put into the new record you create from a filtered list view, which is super cool.
I think we fixed this in Washington. That's not too safe harbor-y. No, the whole having to filter it to open it up at the right.
Oh, okay.
Type.
We're going to name it users related records. Action name user related record. we're going to be able to implement it as different things. So you got server script, client script as usual, but I want it to be a UXF client action. And it's my understanding that this is what lets me, oh, interesting arc. Nice. So I'm going to click on the magnifying glass and I'm going to hit new to create a new action payload definition. And I'm going to name this like that. And this is actually creating the actual UI action itself. Sorry, declarative action itself.
And if you're wondering like what all of these things mean, that article that we linked earlier is like has everything in it. Like, it's really impressive. So I would reference that, bookmark it if you ever have to do anything with declarative actions. I think eventually we'll get some of that pulled into docs and other things, but Dylan really did a great job collecting everything from lots of different sources and putting that together.
So here, something to note, these two right here are also field decorators, and each field can only have a max of 3 displaying at any time. So when I add my field decorator, I'm basically going to be capping out on that. But also, this little I reference field icon that you can use to look further into the record, that is set. Where? How do I open up my tab? There we go. That gets set over here. So for that one, it's set to field type and field type reference. But we don't want this to be on just all reference fields. We want it to be on a specific field. So for that, we need to go to the table. We're going to select incident. And I'm going to select specific field. And now it'll pop up a list of all the incident fields. And I want it to be on caller. Icon here, you can basically select anything you want, but I have this one selected already. So we've got our table, we've got we know it's active. You should always fill in tooltips just to be nice to yourself in the future. Remember what things do. So I'm going to fill in a quick tooltip. I'm going to hit submit. I really should have hit save, but anyways, here it is. Menu record. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to configure a couple of things right here. First, I'm going to go to advanced view. And I've got some nice tabs right here. We're going to go to conditions. And I'm going to set record conditions where caller is not empty. That way, I always have, that button just won't pop up when I don't need it to. So I'm going to right click and save. And we're going to scroll down to UX add-on event mappings and hit new. And it's my understanding that this is what maps the action to the actual, the action to the handled event. So this is super important. And in my testing, one of these pieces was the part that really kept messing me up. So this source element ID. So to start with, there is a whole bunch of just fields here that are all super useful. They all should be, in my opinion, there should be some form of indication that these are like super important, almost required fields, but you use them in different sets, basically. And the best way to learn about this is to take a look at the other UX add-on event mappings that are out of the box, and you'll see what different combinations the different ones use them for. In this specific one, we're going to use the parent macroponent, which can be the page. And we're going to find the page variant we just created. UIB may not have been the best. Here we go. SRP UIB Live. What just happened? Okay, just on the wrong tab. So we've got the parent Mac component, and you can see that that removed a whole bunch of different fields from it. So that's nice. Now we're going to target a specific event on that table. And it shows us all the page level events on that Mac component. Sorry. We got our user related records. And now source element ID. This is the element ID of what is going to be emitting the actual event. And this was kind of tricky. I really relied heavily on the Next Experience developer tools Chrome extension, which also works on Arc, I think, because it's all Chromium. But this is, man, these trolls on this call are just, if y'all are hearing beeps, that's my bad. Let me set. No, okay. Why won't it mute? Okay, I've quit out of Teams. You guys can't get me. Thanks. Where's it coming from?
That was me.
Oh. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. We have a troll producer, as you guys could probably tell with all the antics we got up to before. So, UX add-on event mappings, back on track. We got our target event. We have our parent Mac component. We have our source element ID, which is form for the standard record page specifically. Now I'm going to copy a whole bunch of payload mapping.
And that source element ID, I believe that is the ID of the form component on the page. So if you had renamed the form component to something else, it might be different.
Correct. This is the ID of the component that's going to be emitting this event. So, and I'll also go over some troubleshooting steps here shortly. But now, let's see if it worked. We've got technically all the steps fulfilled. So now we should see a little button popping up here, and we should see it work. It didn't work. Yes. I have no idea how this worked on the first try when we were doing this for a different event, but it did not work. You guys can see here, I click the button and it doesn't do anything. So now into my troubleshooting steps. I like to break things down like I broke them down when I was in tier 1 and tier 2. Not just crying under your desk. You're breaking down the troubleshooting, not yourself. So first, I'm going to go in, and another reason I like to make a variant is because I can just add a button wherever I want. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add after, and I'm going to hit button. So this button is going to let me test to see if my page level event is actually working. So I'm going to go into events. I'm going to click on add event handler. And I'm going to find my user related record page level handler. So I'm going to hit save. And now we're going to test whether my modal even works. So I'm going to refresh the page. Now I got my button. And okay, we got my modal working. But my actual icon won't work yet. So now we know that the problem is with the declarative action. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that everything looks right. We got the client action, UXF field. Oh, something else that's really helpful with these is confirmation required. I like to do it to make sure that it's actually working, kind of like a sanity check. So now if we go back to our workspace, refresh the page, I'm going to click it, and we know at least the action works. But now we know that it's the UXF record or UI Next Experiences Aggressive. Wait a minute. Where'd my UX add-on event mapping record go?
Ooh, where is that record?
That would be it.
I don't think it's supposed to show up at all without the record.
Whoops. Yeah, here's the one.
No, did it get deleted?
Oh, no, this is from when it didn't save.
Oh, there is a spot where you, in the add-on mapping, when you click out to create that, you use the reference field to click out to create a record and then come back. You may not have saved it at that point. You know what I'm talking about?
Weird. Okay, let's fill this back in.
Yeah.
Payload. I blame the team's chat trolling.
I think it probably was Earl's fault. He might have gone in there and deleted it.
Okay, we've got all of that. We're going to hit submit. Okay, now we've got it. Now is where I'm going to do a cache.do. I like hashtag blame it on Earl. And remember, when in doubt, clear cache. So now we're going to figure out how to clear our cache in Arc.
You could try a different browser unless you have only shared that browser.
Oh, we apparently just need to click new tab, type in clear.
Oh.
Oh. Let's refresh. Oh, here we go. Clear cache and refresh. Whoops. Yeah, Arc might be winning me over.
You can go Command-Shift-R in Chrome.
You can do the same in Arc, it seems.
All right.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to look at this in a new browser.
Maybe I should test in a browser, see if it works for me, instead of just sitting here and not doing anything.
Instead of sitting there and heckling?
Also fun, but I'll test it.
So this is legitimately something that you need to keep an eye out for with declarative actions and page level events specifically. Is a lot of the times it may not work for you, but you should try it in a different browser. When I was building out this lab, I literally spent hours and a day and a half trying to figure out why it wouldn't work. And I just tried it in an incognito Chrome window and it magically worked first try.
It didn't work for me, so I don't think it's a cache issue.
Oh no.
Where's my...
But did I... Sorry, Ailey, I was trying to think. I was just trying to think of the quickest thing I could for the sake of the lab. I didn't even think about how that might reflect upon you. My bad. I promise everybody, Ailey can get her computer to turn on. This is just defamation. Let me see if my page level events, if I configured them right. Actually,
I think you did, because it fires.
oh, here's the problem.
Are we testing the wrong page?
I don't know.
No, because the button's there and the modal's there.
You would think.
What did we name that handled event?
We named the handled event users related records. Oh, I put an apostrophe. It didn't remove the apostrophe.
That could be a problem. Yeah.
Why wouldn't it sanitize that? Okay, let's try this again.
Where?
And we're going to add a page event with the new one. Open or close modal. Open. Save.
Yeah, it is misspelled, Nick points out.
See, that's a feature, not a bug. It's just to make sure I can distinguish it from potentially other records that might be there.
I like it.
Right, the button. No, we weren't testing the right page because I renamed this button to test, and the button we were looking at before was button.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, let's set this back up to the page level event, and now let's test it again. Good news, this run was just cursed from the beginning. Everything is working as designed.
Oh, user presence.
No, I appreciate it, Nick. Okay, cool. We've got this working. And this still doesn't work. Oh, no, I need to create a new UX page mapping, right? Because we changed the event.
Yes. So we had multiple things going on that went wrong, right?
See? Maybe I did all of this on purpose to still have fun on the show.
No, you have to be more forceful with it. Like, of course I did it all on purpose.
Of course. It was just too rehearsed before.
So what I generally do at this point, when I think I have done everything, is I walk through every step again. Like, did I create this record? Does it relate to this record? It's complex enough that that's the only way I can troubleshoot it.
Sounds good. Let's make sure that everything here looks right real quick. I'm testing it in another browser real fast. Oh. It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
I tested too.
Fantastic.
So it was the page that we were on and the cache, right?
And the event, because it had an apostrophe.
The event. Okay.
But there is a problem.
Uh-oh.
Something that I haven't sat down to figure out yet, which is this isn't like, I don't think this is actually doing like my filter correctly. because
You think there should be more or less records?
there should be less, like 68 less records. There should only be 2.
Oh, that's right. That was basically all of the records.
Yeah, that was 70.
You can use the next experience dev tools to see what's actually getting passed in to that property. But that's the page itself. It's not the declarative action.
Correct. No, this is the filtered list that just isn't working. The declarative action was a success.
A huge success.
A huge success. How do I open browser tools from Arc?
Well, does your Chrome extension work in Arc?
We're about to see.
Simple container. List connect. I'll try not to be an arcader anymore.
Yeah, Arc is kind of cool, actually, although it doesn't work with my typical workflow of multiple tabs, like multiple windows, rather. But it's interesting. Extensions. I'm trying to find developer.
What's the name of the?
There they are. Let's see if there they are. So you're saying we should be able to see what's getting sent in here?
Yeah, so the list has a property for, I can't multitask, I don't know why I'm trying. It should have a property for the condition that you're passing it, right? So we could see what is actually getting passed to it right here if we know the name of that condition, which I'm trying to remember.
So here we go. Ref incident caller ID.
There we go. Equals nothing.
Plan.
It's blank.
Oh.
So let's go back and make sure that there's a value there. Yeah.
Did I put it in the wrong place? Is fixed filter not the right one?
I mean, either way, I think fixed filter just means that people can't. Oh, you want value, not display value, though.
Oh.
That may be it. Caller ID. Oh, no. I think it's just caller ID.value. You're doing .value.display value. So on the top one, get rid of value. Yeah.
Well, so the reason I did that was because I'm changing over to find the actual record here so we can have some test values show up. So here it said value as a field. So I thought I would have to add display value. Just value works?
No, well, because value, it's all of this is metadata related to the field. So value is just the property that you're on here. So yeah, value will return that sysid that's next to it. But I think it's working because it looks like it changed on the preview.
It does look like it's working now. Let's go ahead and refresh. There we go.
That looks good.
Next experience Chrome developer tools are so nice.
Yes, there have been a few things now where I'm like, oh, I should use that. And then immediately you figure out what's going wrong. So there's some cool things coming up with the latest version of the developer tools as well that I think we're going to highlight on this show sometime in the next 2 months.
So see, I don't know what to do now because we've had like success and we still have like 20 minutes to fill. What are we going to do, Brad?
I mean, we can end early or we can try to accomplish something else. So I can throw a little wrench in this. What happens if you change the collar and then hit that button? Will it reflect the new collar? I think probably because the data resource may change, but let's try it. I think I'm in here. Yeah, you can pick on me.
So do I hit save first or do I click here?
Let's try it without hitting save. Oh, it did work. All right. So I think the data resource, the record data resource must refresh whenever you change a value there and it gets reflected. That's nice.
That is nice.
Well, I expected that not to work. So is there any way to have the icon change? Oh, like when I click on it? I don't think there's a way to do that.
Yeah, I don't think.
Because it's getting set at the platform level on a record.
Yeah. And it's not a UI element we can mess with from UI Builder. Add a list drill down from the modal list to the record.
So does that mean I can click on something from the modal and open up a, ooh, let's do that. Yeah, so if I click on something from the list, can we open that record in a sub-tab on the record? This is actually really easy to do.
Really, don't say anything. Let's see if I can figure this out. I would assume it's an event mapping. Stop me if I am going the wrong way.
You're going the wrong way.
No, how wrong?
You want so one of the cool things about you had it in the pop-up, it was just the wrong event. So if you add it again, one of the cool things about a controller is it comes with a ton of events that you can affect the form from. And so if you scroll down and find the controller, like you see all of these like notification related list, but one of the things it has is called relay open record. It's towards the bottom. But yeah, relay open record. So what that does is you're telling the controller to open a record. And so it's actually going to open it in a sub tab on that record page. So it'll show up next to like details, then you'll have a record. So I think all you have to pass it is the table and the sysid, which should be in the payload of your event. And I think because this could be a request item, I think it's payload. I think you want, yeah. So yeah, I think just table and sysid there. Yeah, and so the route you were going would work if you were trying to open a new top level workspace tab, but this is kind of a nice, like sometimes you don't want to open it at that top level. You want to put it inside the record that you're already on.
Interesting.
So I think it'll show up next to related records. You just click on one of them. Oh, and we should
it
close
does not like that.
Well, it didn't close the modal. We could add another event to close the modal when you click on something. But it did work. It put it next to I guess it's next to details, not related.
It doesn't want to open the incident though.
I think you're already on the incident.
Oh, that's so smart.
It knows. I say that I wrote a little lab for the contextual sidebar and ran into that issue probably 5 times before I figured out that the thing's already open. It's not going to open a new tab. It's smart enough to know that.
That makes sense. So now I'm going to add in to close the modal dialog.
Yep.
Awesome. That was a lot easier than what I was going to do.
It is. Once you get a lot of this stuff set up and you're kind of already in your page variant, a lot of it gets a lot easier, but there is definitely a learning curve.
I can't think of any other additional challenge to add on to this.
I think we could add one more. What if we made it? Oh, what if? I don't know if we can do this. No, I don't think that's going to work. It would be cool to where if you clicked on it and there are records, it pops up the modal. But if there's no related records, you just see like a field message that says no related records. I think that'll take us too long because we'd have to change the way. Yeah, we'd have to know that from this page.
Which we do from the form controller, though, don't we?
We don't know if there's related records from the form, or we don't know if there's other incidents from the same caller, because we're doing that directly from the list component rather than like a data resource. So we'd have to add like another data resource that told us whether there were related records.
You're right. So basically the way it would work is create a data resource that gets triggered when you open up this modal, or at least refreshed.
Well, you'd want it triggered on, you probably need it on page load, because what you would probably do is that handled event, there's a condition field on event handlers. So if you just like add an event handler here, or open up the relay record, open data resource, or any event handler. Yeah, if you scroll all the way down to advanced and then hit conditional, you can add like formulas in there. You can even do like you can kind of sort of do some JavaScripting. And so if you had 2 different events that you wanted to fire, based on different things. So like, if there are related records, I do one thing. If they're not, I do another thing. I can do that from this event handler conditional. So you'd add 2 event handlers and have different conditions for both. But one of the cool things about that the record controller is that it has event handlers for interacting with the form. So like if we went back to, anywhere where you can add an event handler, even, here would work, even though it'd be recursive, but. Oh yeah, that'll work. So if you scroll down and we just kind of look through some of the event handlers in the controller. So there's like things you can do with the activity stream. You can set values. You can add form messages, remove form messages, like, collapse tabs, all sorts of things, like interacting with that form component itself from UIB. right? So things that you might normally do in a client script or a UI action, you can still do those things in a client script or UI action, but sometimes you might want to do that from UIB, from like a sub page in a page collection, or like something in a different tab, or, you know, however, maybe not a different tab, but like a button in UIB. Refresh, another one.
And the form controller is unique to the standard record page.
Yes, it is unique to, yeah, if you use the standard record page template, you'll get the form controller. If you build a record page from scratch and add a form component, it'll automatically add the form controller. It's just those older versions of the record page have, instead of the form controller, they have that gform data resource that also does some of these things. It just works differently.
Awesome. I think we're good to go then.
All right. Should we plug, I think there's a Washington, D.C. Tech Now coming up, right? My guess would be that it's a week from today, but maybe Earl can pop something up that tells us when it is. He was eating.
I think it's, I'm pulling it up now.
Okay. ServiceNow.
It looks like it's on February 1st at 8 a.m. Pacific time.
So that is EA Day. That's also February store release day. So all sorts of things will happen on that day.
I sent Earl the link on Slack to post in the chat for those of you who want to register for the Tech Now. Also, we are going to start our first of the What's New in Washington series of academies on February 21st. We're going to be going over what's new in Next Experience and experiences in general. And then our next academy after that is going to be of particular interest to our audience here. It's going to be what's new in Washington, D.C. for UI Builder and Workspaces. That one is going to be March 20th. At 11 a.m. Eastern time. Be sure to tune into that. Other than that, our next show for UI Builder Live is going to be February 8th. What are we going to do on February 8th, Brad?
Did we decide that already?
Nope, we have no idea.
Good. I never remember things. So we're going to do something fun, I think. Let's do something fun. It'll be something in the Washington release version of UIB. So we'll probably talk a little bit about what's there and that sort of thing, and then do something with one of those Washington features. There's some good stuff.
I know exactly what we're going to do then. Awesome. Then that sounds exciting. I can't think of anything else that I need to shill or announce. We good to close it out?
I think so. There is, I think, knowledge call for content starts soon. We'd already did.
I think so too.
But yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of.
Wait, we didn't even get to say goodbye.
He's playing us off. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining. Bye.
See you on the 8th.